Before COVID, only 23% of professionals worked remotely. Today, 59% are working remotely most or all of the time, as according to data from the Pew Research Center. Now, that's despite pushes from corporations like JP Morgan Chase, Disney, Starbucks, and others, with executives looking to get workers back into the office. For example, the latest voice pushing for a return to the office is OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. In a fireside chat organized by Stripe, the ChatGPT creator said one of the tech industry's worst mistakes in a long time was that everybody could go full remote forever, and startups didn't need to be together in person. He went on to tell attendees the experiment on that is over, and the technology is not yet good enough that people can be fully remote forever, particularly on startups. Well, for more on the remote work debate, let's get to Almanac CEO Adam Nathan. Adam, good to have you on the show here. People seem to have some very strong feelings about remote work. So break down for us, is it an industry-wide issue here, or is this something that certain industries perhaps are going to end up being remote forever?
Yeah, well, I think you just have to look at the data to see that remote is a trend that's not going away. As you just showed, remote before the pandemic was at in the low 20s. It peaked around 71% in the pandemic, but today I think the numbers are actually even higher. It's about 66% from the latest Pew report, and so you see a more than 3x jump in remote work, and it's continued to actually climb in the last 12 months. And so even though you hear a lot of prominent people out there saying that remote is over, it turns out that remote provides a lot more flexibility for employees and for employers. It allows managers and leaders to hire people at a lower cost than in expensive cities like San Francisco or New York, help run more of a 24/7 operation. And so you have a lot more impact per dollar.
So then what message would you have for some of these companies who just don't want to embrace remote work? What happens to them long term when you think about the generations that are coming in and really the sort of expectations that they have about work-life balance?
Yeah, well, I think that the problem that we see in a lot of our research at Almanac is that even though where we work has changed, how we work hasn't. And so things like the burnout epidemic, news reports on quiet quitting are all indicators that even though companies have shifted into some kind of permanent remote or hybrid format, they haven't actually changed how they're collaborating, how they're getting stuff done. They're still acting as if they're in an office from 9 to 5 each day. And so we think that the solution is really about companies evolving the way that they work together. The quote that you showed from Sam Altman talked about how the technology isn't good enough. And we would agree that in a lot of cases, the right answer, though, isn't just a new tool or AI. It's actually evolving how you work to be as fast as the internet can enable.
So talk about Almanac's role in this structured collaboration using the cloud. How exactly does this work? Because you have some big name clients in here, including Cisco, Indeed, ByteDance as well.
Yeah, so Almanac is really similar to how GitHub works for collaborating on code. The way that engineers work together, engineers have been working on the internet far longer than business professionals or knowledge workers have. And engineers work through a tool called GitHub, which allows them to essentially collaborate asynchronously without meeting. And it employs a lot of structure so that there's a set of rails for common engineering processes like getting approvals on code, and also a lot of transparency so people can answer questions on their own without needing to be in a meeting all the time. And so what we do at Almanac is translate a lot of those innovations that we know enable software engineers to be among the most productive and innovative in the world for business use cases like working on sales contracts or marketing documents or really any kind of writing.
And it's interesting because some of the arguments are about sort of in-person collaboration, but on the other side, you also have things like productivity. And looking at some of the numbers here about the amount of time professionals spend 95% of their time looking for files, attending meetings, responding to messages. Is the actual sort of work landscape itself more the issue than sort of this debate between remote and in-person work?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I think the debate between remote versus hybrid versus in-person is like a tired debate and almost the wrong question to be asking. There's when it comes to things like brainstorming or collaborating or making decisions, it doesn't matter where you're doing it. You can be doing it in an office. You can be doing it online. You can be doing it in a meeting, not in a meeting. It turns out that there's a better and worse way to do most types of work. And I think what people are looking for is a better way to work, a better way to brainstorm, a better way to collaborate, a better way to make decisions. And a lot of that has to be reinvented for the way that we're working now, which is basically entirely on the internet, online all the time.
It's certainly a new normal we weren't expecting, at least until COVID sort of forced us into it. And so now sort of reckoning with how we all fit into this space. I do appreciate you joining us this morning on Yahoo Finance. Almanac CEO Adam Nathan, thank you so much.